Most people think royal guards never react. They stand still, silent, unbreakable, no matter what happens around them. Tourists laugh, cameras flash, and sometimes people cross the line, assuming the guard will do nothing. But one chilly afternoon in London proved something powerful. When royal guards fight back, it's not with anger or fists. It's with courage, dignity, and unexpected kindness. What happened that day stopped a busy street in its tracks. It wasn't loud. It wasn't violent. Yet the impact was so strong that those who witnessed it would remember it for the rest of their lives. Before the story begins, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment to support Empire News. Your support helps us bring you real, emotional stories that remind us of the good still alive in this world. It was a grey afternoon near Buckingham Palace. The air was cold and a steady stream of visitors filled the pavement. One royal guard stood at his post, tall and disciplined, eyes forward, uniform flawless. To most people, he looked like a statue, part of the scenery, not a person. A small crowd gathered nearby, watching him closely. Among them was a middle-aged man, loud and impatient, clearly trying to get attention. He stepped closer than allowed, waving his arms, mocking the guard's stillness. Some people laughed nervously. Others looked away, uncomfortable. The guard remained unmoved. Then something changed. Just behind the crowd stood an elderly woman, clearly struggling. She leaned heavily on her walking stick, trying to move through the tight space. The noisy man stepped backward without looking and bumped straight into her. She lost her balance and fell hard onto the pavement. The laughter stopped instantly. The woman cried out in pain. Her shopping bag spilled across the ground. People froze, unsure what to do. The man who caused it looked shocked but said nothing. And still, the guard stood silent. For a brief moment, everyone assumed nothing would happen. Then the royal guard fought back. He stepped forward firmly, his boots striking the ground with authority. His voice rang out, calm but commanding, ordering the crowd to step back and make space. People immediately obeyed. There was no anger in his tone, only control and purpose. The guard knelt beside the elderly woman, carefully placing his gloved hand near her shoulder without rushing her. He spoke softly, asking if she was hurt. His presence alone brought calm. Another guard signaled for assistance, while nearby tourists rushed to help gather her belongings. The man who had pushed her stood frozen, shame written all over his face. The guard helped the woman sit up safely, shielding her from the cold pavement. He stayed with her until medical staff arrived, reassuring her with quiet words. When she reached for his hand, he held it steady, offering comfort without breaking his professionalism. The crowd watched in silence. This was not the fight people expected. There were no raised fists, no shouting, no punishment. Instead, the guard fought disrespect with responsibility, care, and humanity. When paramedics arrived, the woman was stable. She looked up at the guard with tears in her eyes and whispered, "Thank you, son." The guard nodded gently and helped her onto the stretcher before returning to his post. As he stood back in position, something had changed in the air. People who moments earlier had been filming and joking now stood quietly. Parents pulled their children closer. Tourists lowered their phones. Respect replaced entertainment. The man who had caused the accident stepped forward and apologized aloud, not to the crowd, but to the space where the guard stood. He didn't get a response, but he didn't need one. The lesson had already landed. Later that evening, a young Londoner who witnessed the event shared the story online. He wrote, "I always thought royal guards were trained not to care. Today I learned they are trained to care deeply, just at the right moment." That post spread quickly, not because it was dramatic, but because it was real. In a world where reacting loudly often gets attention, this royal guard showed that true strength lies in calm action and compassion. He reminded everyone that fighting back doesn't always mean pushing harder. It can mean standing taller for someone who can't. As you go about your day, remember this moment. Choose patience over provocation, kindness over ego, courage over silence when it truly matters. Because when kindness fights back, it always wins.